What's going on, everybody? Another episode of The Sit Down. This is the first solo episode we've had in a very long time. Yeah. January, maybe? I think I did want to start off the new year, solo new year. So bear with me. I can get used to this stuff again. I've got notes this time around. Last time I don't think I had notes. Let me just my one man setup. I've got so much nice light coming into the studio right now. Nice sip of water. Something's hitting the desk or something. I don't know, but we're going to roll with it. I got some fan questions to answer, and I have a pretty long story to tell. So, if you've been following the Wooden Spoon Media on Instagram, you know that we took a trip to Naples, Florida, which was so much fun. So, I'm going to give you guys the backstory on that. I don't want to give every single detail away because I shot a vlog through the whole trip. Flew all the way down to Florida, drove all the way back to Buffalo, New York. For those of you who don't know, it's like 1,400 something miles. And we did it in a brand new, well, not a brand new car, but a used car that I just bought without really driving it anywhere. So it was fun for the most part. And I guess we could just dive right. Yeah, let's dive right into it. Oh, first, before we get started, I'm recording this episode April 2nd, and I just got the podcast numbers for March, and I am blown away. We had a record breaking month on podcast number. There's tens of thousands of you guys, tens of thousands. And the only thing I could ask you guys to do to help support is leave a review wherever you're listening to the podcast, and then make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's where you're going to actually see the vlog of the trip that I'm going to talk about. And make sure you just follow us on Instagram and all the other social medias. And thank you so much for your support. Thank you guys so much. This podcast has taken off. By the end of the year, we want 100,000 listeners. So I think it's an achievable goal. And you guys can help me get there by sharing, subscribing, leaving a review, yada, yada, yada. So let's jump into it. So I had been wanting an upgrade in my car. And for me, I don't necessarily look at car purchases as like something necessity. I'm one of those people that I don't have to impress anybody. But my 1998 Chevy Blazer needed an upgrade. I've had that car for so many years. I've just never wanted to get rid of it. Your first car, I don't know. You're attached to it. What was it? What was your first car? Think about your first car for a second, and think about your upgrade, all that fun stuff to do with it. So I had a 98 Chevy Blazer, super cozy. It cost me no money, and I don't like paying money for stuff. Nobody likes paying money for stuff. I don't want to pay thousands of dollars for car payments and insurance. I've been paying. You guys will laugh when I tell you I've been paying like $400 for my insurance every 6 months, and that's the only thing I needed to pay for my car. So I wanted an upgrade for my car, and I didn't want to pay more than what I'm used to paying. So my dad and I were. My dad's a big car guy. You guys have seen him on old stories. He's on one episode. We'll be shooting another couple of few, but he's a big car guy. He restores a lot of cars. So we've been thinking, what could I get that's an upgrade, but not really an upgrade? So we decided on a late 90s, early 2000s Cadillac Eldorado, the freaking Paulie Walnuts car from The Sopranos. And once he showed me that, we figured my insurance would basically stay the same. I'd get better gas mileage, and I'd have a Cadillac. Cadillac thrills, as Ludacris would say. So I've been stuck on this. But problem with this car, there's not a lot around the Western New York area. Nobody in Buffalo, anywhere else, really drives Caddy Eldorados. They're hard to come across. So we're like, all right, we'll look on eBay Motors, and then in eBay, you're like, I bought cars on eBay before. Everyone's bought cars on eBay. Well, not everybody, but my family's bought cars on eBay before. My dad's a big car guy, like I said. He's a Picasso when it comes to fixing cars. So we weren't worried about buying stuff on eBay Motors. We could put some money into it, fix it up, make it nice, and have a nice, reliable car for not that much money. Shout out to Dad. So I'm stuck on this Eldorado. Been doing the research on it. Gonna get wings in my hair like Paulie Walnuts, all 9 yards. But so then I start looking on Facebook Marketplace. There's a little bit more options on Facebook Marketplace. It's like a safer Craigslist. I wish I had Facebook Marketplace my whole life. Would have made killing money on in high school doing that. Nonetheless, so I was like, screw it. We're gonna go to Florida. I love Florida. Who doesn't love Florida? It's beautiful. We can make a vacation out of this. So I started looking at Eldorados in Naples, Fort Myers area, and all the Cadillac Eldorados that ever existed are either in Southwest Florida or they're in California. I guess only, I mean, if you really think about it, old people drive all these caddies and Eldorados. And I guess they just died in Florida and people bought their cars and they're selling them in Florida. So we found one dirt cheap, like stupid cheap for this Eldorado. It had like 60,000 miles on it. It was a 2001 Eldorado. I was like, sweet. I'm flying down. I'm driving it back. What's the worst that could happen? And you guys, the worst that could happen is that you get down there and the car's a piece of shit. Guess what happened? I got down there and the car was a piece of shit. So that's what happened. So we'll jump into the story, I guess, now. So I'm not now Tarantinoing it. I'm going to bring it back to the beginning of the story. So we're deep into this Eldorado. It's red. It looks cool. I'm going to drive it back. 2001. It was like the last year they made Eldorados, I think. So booked a Frontier Airlines. Oh, hold up. Shout out for those of you that shit on Frontier Airlines or Spirit Airlines. I had a great experience with Frontier Airlines, and I'll say that one up front. So I bought my ticket, and then first off, I was going solo. I was going to do this all by myself. And I was, you know what? I don't want to do this by myself. So I talked my brother into coming down. And I will make a little brother vacation out of it. So we booked his ticket separately. So we had two tickets. There's no way we're sitting next to each other. And I'm not going to pay $200 to move both of our seats next to each other. It's ridiculous. It's a 2.5-hour flight. Who cares? So we get to Buffalo Airport and hop on. When you get on your Frontier Airlines flight, I don't know if you guys ever flown Frontier before, but after you get on, everyone sits down in their assigned seats in the, yeah, shooting a podcast. Just so rudely interrupted. And now I have to edit this thing. Yes. Edit the shit out of this thing. Okay. So you get on a Frontier Airlines flight. Once everybody sits down in their assigned seats, it then becomes anarchy in the best way. So I sit down next to this really older couple. 50s, 60s. They're old to me. Whatever. So I sit down, or they're like I'm in the window seat. They're right here in the middle seat and in the aisle seat. And I was like, oh, I gotta get the window seat. They said, all good. We're gonna just try to move up. Anyways, there's some open seats up there. They didn't sell this flight out. And so everyone in the whole plane starts just sitting wherever they want to sit. Some guys go with their friends, and this and that. It's anarchy. It's like going on a school bus. What's going on here? Blew my mind. And so I get the whole row to myself, and I was like, jackpot, and then got my brother up. And so, guys, here's a tip for you. If you fly Frontier and you want to pay money to make sure you sit next to each other, hold off. Don't do it. You can figure it out after the fact. So we fly in to Fort Myers International Airport, and I need to rent a car because I don't have a car yet. And it's 10, it's like 11 o'clock at night at this point. Only flight Frontier had. Beggars can't be choosers. So I get to Avis rent a car, and guess what? Your boy's not 25 yet. I'll be 25 in a couple months, but I'm still going to get hit with a not 25 yet rental car fee, which sucks. Whatever. Get my rental car. I think I got a Camry, but I was calling it a Taurus the whole time because it's like the same car in my head. So drove that down whatever highway, Fort Myers and Naples. We had a hotel in Naples because the car I want to buy is in Naples, and Naples is a nicer area and there's a lot more to do in Naples. So drive the car, check into the hotel, boom, done. We talked to the guy who had this Eldorado 2 days, the day we left. He said, putting a new alternator in it, which wasn't a big deal at the time. And he goes, then we'll have it ready for you to pick up tomorrow. So we said, great. We're going to pick up the new car tomorrow. So tomorrow comes. I flew in on a Monday. So this is Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning, we wake up, go eat breakfast at the most Naples diner in the whole world. And then I was just trying to time it so we get the car early, and then we could take the rental car back, bum around in the Eldorado. we were staying till Wednesday night, I think. And then, headed back home Thursday. I'm trying to like remember everything for you guys. Now, this is all going to be documented way better in a vlog coming up in the next week or two. So we wake up, and so I'm texting the guy at breakfast. I go, oh, and so I just give him a call. I said, hey, we're at breakfast now. I'd love to come get the car after. He goes, yeah, we're still finishing up the alternator. Now, this is red flag numero uno, the day of. And FYI, I got to take the rental car back today. I only got it for like a day rental, right? And it's expensive to rent cars, especially when you're not 25 yet. So I said, okay, you're finishing up the alternator. And he goes, then I want to take it for a test drive, just make sure everything's good. And I said, okay, so we have to kill some more time. So we found a nice mini golf spot in Naples. So we started mini golfing. There was like a 36-hole mini golf course, and your boy's a putt-putt champion. I kill putt-putt. So we did some putt-putt, vlogged all that stuff, and like, all right, let's give the guy another call. Like, hey, I just finished the alternator. We're gonna drive it around, give it a little test drive, and we gotta you guys could come down and pick it up. Okay. So in my mind, we're all set. I'm feeling a little bit better about the red flag I heard earlier. So we get down to the hotel just to chill out for a minute before we headed back out to pick up the car, which turned out to be a half hour away. So there was no need even staying in Naples because it was like in the middle of Florida. So you have to drive inland. Whatever, doesn't matter. So on the way to go pick up the Eldorado, I'm excited. Gonna get a new car. Gonna get an Eldorado. It's gonna be cool. It's a caddy. Get a call. Brake line blew on their Eldorado. And I was immediately pissed. They could have figured this out beforehand. But it's what happens when you buy a car basically on Facebook's Craigslist. So now I'm freaking out. And because I don't have a car to get home, don't have flights to come back, can't drive the rental car back. So I'm freaking a little bit. Now, we did have a kind of some plan B's, C's, D's, whatever. We knew of some other cars in the area to get. So we ended up just booking the rental car for another night. And in the process of doing this, we went and chilled by the pool, relaxed for a little bit. My dad had called another person that had a different Cadillac Seville. Now, this was white pearl. It was more caddy than the Eldorado. The Eldorado was red. So this is more Cadillac looking anyways, which turned out to be literally a mile away from the hotel. It was an actual dealer. So we went down to the dealership. We saw this Cadillac Seville, took it for a test drive, drove great, a little bit more miles than the Eldorado, but still a lot less than what my 98 Blazer had. It had 220,000 when I sold it. So test drove the Seville, bought the Seville. Boom. I have a Cadillac Seville. So that night, still a little stressed. Still had the rental car. Got dinged for another fee for not being under 25. Whatever. And hung out. Finally got to meet the man, the myth, the legend, the Boston Guido. And because he's got a place down in Florida. He's always in Florida. He should be the Boston/Florida Guido. But we had an awesome dinner at Limoncello's restaurant in Naples. Where is it? In between Naples, Fort Myers, towards Naples. We had a great dinner. Finally got to hang out with the Guido, his son Carlo, me, my bro. Sorry for that. My phone is on. I'm not super in podcast mode right now. I don't know why. I'm so used to having guests all the time. Whatever. So this is Tuesday night. So go back to the hotel, chill, relax. Wednesday we wake up. We have to go pick up the caddy. And then I rented the rental car for an extra day. So I'm going to drive the shit out of the rental car. I'm not going to touch the caddy that I just bought. And I'm also terrified of driving it based on what happened to the last Cadillac. Granted, I didn't drive it, but you're scared. You're gun shy. You're basically across the country in a car you know nothing about, really. So I'm just, all right, we're driving the rental car everywhere. Where did we go in Naples? We just hung around Naples, kind of. Excuse me. Can't blow my nose. think we went to the Old Naples Pub, is what it was called, for lunch. And we had grouper, which was a new experience for us. My brother got alligator bites. Hey, nobody needs to eat alligator. It doesn't taste like anything. It just tasted like fried balls. Shit. Didn't mean to say that. Like fried chicken balls. They're just like little balls of just fried food. Fried balls. Great. That's going to become a thing now. Yes. So we did that and we went down to Naples Pier, walked the pier a little bit, went down to the beach, almost got attacked by a crab at the beach. That was fun. And then time to take the rental car back. So this is where I haven't even driven the Cadillac really. My brother had to drive it because he can't drive the rental car because he's way younger than me. And I'm not getting in trouble for him crashing a rental car. I'd rather get him in trouble for him crashing my Seville if he crashed. He's actually a better driver than me. Safer, not better. So we drive the rental car back to the Fort Myers airport to return it. I hop in my caddy. Caddy's driving nice. Gotta say, shout out to Cadillac. If anybody has a Cadillac, you know what I'm talking about with that nice smooth ride. And then we had another fun night with the Boston Guido. New best friend. I have a new best friend now, guys. It's the Boston Guido. We've talked for so long. Finally got to meet. We hung out. We went out to dinner again at the Saucy Meatball in Fort Myers. Then we went to the world famous cigar bar. We could talk about that a little bit because I don't understand cigar bars. I don't really understand cigars or smoking. I don't really smoke like anything. I mean, the last time I really like smoked was when hookah was popular 7 years ago. And I think it was only fun smoking hookah because you were always underage when you did it. So I really don't understand smoking. That's me. I'm sure you guys are going to light me up. Some of you guys are big cigar enthusiasts, and I get liking something, but I don't get liking cigars. But anyways, had a fun night with the Boston Guido. This is our last night in Naples. So now where I was getting upset because we were in Fort Myers. Fort Myers and Naples, although they're like right next to each other, it's like a freaking 45-minute drive. So we had to drive all the way back to Naples to drive all the way back up north again the next day. So this is Thursday. And so we went to Walmart. We got oil for the car. We got a whole breakdown kit, basically just tools, duct tape, washer fluid. What else? What else do you got? Coolant, just a bunch of stuff for a car that you know nothing about. And then we started our journey to Atlanta, Georgia, because we got family in Atlanta or outside of Atlanta. My cousin coaches soccer at Kennesaw. Shout out. I think they're the Owls. Shout out Kennesaw. So we started our road trip back. And let me tell you guys something. Driving in middle of America is the strangest thing in the whole world. Now, the drive to Atlanta was horrible. It was only supposed to take us 9 hours. I think it took us 11 and a half because I wasn't pushing the caddy. You don't push a car that you know nothing about. And I love the speed limits in the South way better. 70, 75 speed limits are way better than the 60 and 65 we have in New York. Also, another thing I'd like to point out, the tolls I paid driving from Naples, Florida to Niagara Falls, New York cost less than driving from Buffalo, New York to New York City by like 1,000%. Literally, no, no exaggeration. I think it cost me $3 in tolls. And guess what? The only tolls are from New York State. So you guys know the struggles of being a New York resident. Too many taxes, too many tolls, too much of that. Anyways, so we started on our journey to Atlanta, Georgia. So driving through Florida is also the nicest thing in the whole world. The road is just the same the whole way down. It's just flat and just the same. So that was great. Drove through Georgia. And where do we stop to eat? I think I got Chick-fil-A. And Chick-fil-A is also just always a fun experience, no matter. It's the same thing. It's delicious. It's the best fast food. You guys can't like even convince me otherwise. And Chick-fil-A's in the South are even better. They love Chick-fil-A in the South. That was the only, like, you see McDonald's signs, billboards, whatever. There was only Chick-fil-A signs. That's the only sign that I saw on a billboard for fast food was Chick-fil-A for this entire South, the entire South, like to Tennessee, Kentucky. It was all Chick-fil-A's. Lady wished me, she said, have a blessed day. She said it 3 times. And you know what? It put me in better mood. And it felt better. And so at this point, the car's driving great. And then we get to Atlanta outside. Well, we drove through Atlanta. And Atlanta traffic is the worst traffic in the whole country that I've experienced. Now, I've experienced Long Island Expressway traffic. and Atlanta topped that. It was crazy, and I didn't understand why. Nonetheless, we get to Atlanta, and we're hanging out with the fam. My aunt, my uncle, my cousin. They all live in outside. Where were they? Ackworth, Georgia, which was also crazy because that's where all this these shootings happened lately in Georgia. And my cousin like drove past it the one day coming home from work a couple weeks ago. So it's really crazy. Just really weird driving through that and all that happening. Yeah, it's sad, but what are you gonna do? I don't know. I don't really know what to say on it. It's sad, but it's a fun podcast. It's supposed to be a fun podcast. How long am I going so far? Doing this like 20 minutes or so. So we're in Georgia, and then so what else do we do? Okay. So my brother and I, since we've been little, we've always been playing like one-on-one football with our uncle since we were 8, 10, 12. We haven't done it in like 6 years. So this is the first time we've all been together. And so guess what? We threw down in the cul-de-sac in football, and I lost on a very, very bush league call, may I say. I lost by one score on a very bush league call. I'll protest it till the day I die. That was fun. It's just nice hanging out with the fam. Georgia's also beautiful. All the hills and the mountains and the woods. I don't think I could ever live in Georgia, but it's a beautiful place to visit. Had some good old fashioned smoked barbecue. Had some smoked salmon, which was delicious. I don't even remember the place. I think it was called the Nest or something. Down in Woodstock, Georgia. Hung out in Woodstock for a little bit. Then just hung out with the fam. And also the scariest thing that ever happened to me happened. Um, like I said, this is a fun podcast, but I wanted to talk about this because this was the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. Well, not happened to me, but scariest thing that I've witnessed. So we're driving. My cousin found out about some cookie place that was like a big deal. So we're driving like 20 minutes to go to this cookie place in Marietta, Georgia. So we're at an intersection. We're at a red light in an intersection. It's like a big intersection. So there's like 2 lanes of traffic, a turning lane, and then like a shoulder on the left side. It's so hard to explain like the road situations because everything's a U-turn too in the South, which I'm not used to. I didn't like. But so all of a sudden we had the windows rolled down a little bit, and we hear like yelling coming from like behind us, and then the car's flying like 40 miles an hour. It's going fast in like not a driving lane. It was like a lane with like the lines through it, like, hey, don't drive in this lane. They were driving in this lane, and we're at like a red light, and there's cross traffic coming from every direction. And we see like somebody in the passenger side trying to open the door, like just throw the door open and like jump out, and they're screaming, help me, help me, help me. And then flying like 40, 45 miles an hour, flies through the red light and then just drives away. And we just like couldn't even process what just happened. And like we were terrified. And like this has affected me for about a week or so. It's been terrifying me. So it's like if you guys watch like Law and Order, SVU, or Criminal Minds, it's like, you know how bad you feel for some of those victims? Like it's like that times literally a million. Like it was horrifying. Like we called the cops immediately and just reported the incident. There was like one other person, I guess, that called too, which like kind of hit me a little bit too. It's like I just saw 70 cars like witness what I had just witnessed, and like only 2 people called, which is like you guys should just be doing the right thing, especially during times like this where a lot of bad stuff's happening. It's important, I think, to do the right thing. So we called or reported, like prayed on it a little bit because it was just scary. And if that was a real life bad situation, I just hope that everything turned out well. And it's so hard to like think about because it's like I don't know what happened, and it's like I'll never know what happened. Like cops can't tell me of like an ongoing investigation in Georgia. I don't even live there. So it's like I just have this information for the rest of my life that I have to live with. And it's awful. And this is my therapy, me telling you guys about it. So that was Georgia. I had a horrible night that night because I was just fresh in my head. And so we're like, all right, I just want to go home now. I'm not feeling too hot. So we woke up. What day was that? That was Friday night. Saturday, we just like woke up bright and early, hit the road. Now we're driving Georgia to. I live in north of Niagara Falls, New York. I'm not going to tell you guys exactly where we live, but north of Niagara Falls, New York. So Georgia, where we were, Ackworth, Georgia, to north of Niagara Falls is about a 13-hour drive. No, that's a 13-hour drive, no stops, no nothing, no fuel. And I have a car that I know nothing about. I'm not going to push the car. It was getting a little shaky when I hit 75. So I'm not going to push the car over 75 really. So we're like, we're in for a really long day. So of course we started kind of late too. We got on the road around 9:30ish. And then we kind of just hit the road, got rolling. And then something fun finally happened. We came to Tennessee. Now let me get Tennessee. It has to be a fun state. It's got to be because there's Nashville. We're gonna go back down to Nashville and spend a weekend there. We were thinking about stopping there. Didn't have enough time really. But the second you cross into Tennessee in all these states, the only signs that you'll see are billboards for fireworks, giant fireworks warehouses, and adult entertainment warehouses. So you guys know what I'm talking about. Gross stuff. Adult toys, all that stuff, adult entertainment super centers. That's the only things you see. So apparently, based on billboards that I've seen driving from Florida to New York, there's three things people love. They love Chick-fil-A, they love fireworks stores, and they like buying dildos. Also, I saw 10 billboards, I think, for Bigfoot museums, which I'll admit to you guys right now, I believe in Bigfoot. I think that's real. That's my conspiracy theory. I'm sticking to it. But I didn't actually stop at the Bigfoot Museum. Didn't have enough time, but would like to stop. I think it was in Blue Ridge, Georgia, whatever. The thing that concerned me was how does this museum afford 10 billboards on an interstate highway that blew me on the 75? That's a big highway. I think billboards would be expensive. So my question is, how does this Bigfoot museum afford all these big billboards? Also, I'm sorry if this podcast isn't super Italian. I just wanted to document this story. I wanted something to talk about. I needed a lot of stuff to get off my chest, but oh my god, I hate my dog sometimes. Where were we? So we're driving to Tennessee. Now the best thing about Tennessee, and you guys might argue with this. I mean, this is I think the best thing about Tennessee. You only have to be 16 to buy any fireworks that you want, and so we bought any fireworks that we wanted. The first time we stopped for gas, we came across a gas station that was right next to this giant fireworks warehouse, and these fireworks were dirt cheap. And I'm not going to admit on air that I bought them and brought them to New York because I definitely did not do that. I definitely did not buy $150, which was the equivalent of a shopping cart full of random fireworks and bring them to New York. I definitely didn't do that. Let's just say I'm excited for 4th of July this year. But that was absolutely fantastic about Tennessee. So if you ever go to Tennessee, the best thing that you could do in Tennessee is go buy any fireworks that you want. And they had the fun stuff, the giant firecrackers, the giant bottle rockets. I just bought stuff that looked cool and it was like $6. I was like, yes, I want this giant tube labeled sparkly crackling fun. And I'm going to light this off one day. But I totally didn't buy that. Wink, wink. So we continued on. We saw a horrible car crash. You see terrible stuff on the road. You see crazy stuff and terrible stuff and fun stuff. I don't know if I ever want to make that drive again, but nonetheless. So we drove through Kentucky, and I'll go on record saying that nobody ever has to go to Kentucky again. If you picture what Kentucky is, if you think about it in your head long enough, you've been to Kentucky in my book. Then we get to Kentucky. Then after Kentucky, we drove corner to corner of Ohio. I love Ohio. We had a lot of fun in Ohio in 2019, Columbus and Youngstown, Ohio. We drove Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland. We drove the whole corner to corner of Ohio. Stopped at White Castle. Now I had White Castle back in 2014. It was the first time I ever had White Castle, like from a White Castle restaurant. We don't have those in New York. And I had it and I was like, this is not White Castle. This can't be White Castle. This is horrible. This isn't good. I had it in Indiana in 2014. That was on a separate road trip. We might talk about that a different day though. So we stopped at a White Castle and it was exactly what it was in Indiana. It was bad. It wasn't good. I think the frozen White Castles are better than regular White Castles. Gave it another shot. That was our dinner, whatever. They had the big giant. We couldn't even actually go in because I really want to stop at the bathroom too. but everything was closed. The whole COVID situation. That's another thing. People in the South, they weren't wearing masks. And then people up here, it's like a flip flop. It's like a parallel universe almost. Like you go down South and you wear masks, you're getting dirty looks for wearing masks. You come up to New York and you don't have a mask, you're getting a dirty look for not wearing a mask. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? Separate note. White Castle, not that great. Same thing. So we got that and we're like, you know what, this got to be our last stop. This like has to be like our very last stop. It's pushing 7:30, 8 o'clock. We still got like 5 hours left on the trip. 6 hours. No, we were in Columbus. So we had 6 hours left on the drive home. So we hit it. And what were we doing? We watched up to season 3 of Entourage from the trip to Florida back. So that we got into season 3 of Entourage, which I thought was cool. And then we didn't even keep watching Entourage. We started watching the UFC fights because we bet a lot of money on UFC fights. Not a lot of money, but we have fun parlays. And yeah, I lost almost all of my bets for the UFC fights, which was tough. And so we're driving Cleveland to Erie, PA back. It was like dark. It was horrible. Had to stop like one last time for gas and then just kind of pushed it. We got home around 1:30 in the morning. So like 9:30 to 1:30. I'll try to do that math for you. So 10, 13, 11, 14. We drove like 16 hours. It was rough. Longest time I've ever been on the road. I can't. Best thing that happened though was I got my Cadillac back. And my Cadillac's great. I love it. I'll be making some TikTok videos with it. We'll be making some more stuff with it. It is a blast. I have a 98 Cadillac Seville. So I didn't even go up a year for my 98 Blazer. And it's fun. Whatever. It's like a fun car. And I didn't pay a lot of money. And I don't have to pay a lot of money for it. Because I guess for those of you watching, don't buy something just because you want to impress other people. Buy stuff because you think it's cool, no matter how much it costs. If you could afford it, buy it. If you can't afford something, just buy something that you could afford that you like. So that's my whole spiel. Now we're going to drop a vlog of the entire trip. We've tried to record as much as we could. It was a lot of recording in the cars, a lot of the billboard pictures, stuff like that. So keep an eye out for that this month. It's going to take a very long time to edit that. I'll try to get that done in a couple weeks or so. But what else is going on in the world? We've been going a really long time. I guess we could almost wrap it up. Just a little bit more announcements. We got Marvin Vettori fighting Kevin Holland tomorrow. So this podcast will drop. Or no, it'll be. So if you're seeing this podcast, it's most likely Saturday the 3rd. We're recording this. Well, I'm hungry. If you guys heard that, that was my stomach. That was my stomach. But we're recording this Friday the 2nd. So tomorrow, Marvin Vettori. No, not tomorrow. Next week. What am I doing? Next week, April 10th. Our boy, the Italian Dream, Marvin Vettori, is fighting Kevin Holland in a UFC event on ABC in the middle of the day. So make sure you show some love to Marvin Vettori. We actually also next Saturday, what's dropping is the podcast with Paulie Malignaggi, 2-time world champ. We talked about Marvin Vettori a little bit, talked about the boxing world, Jake Paul boxing, all being Italian, all some fun stuff with freaking 2-time world champion Paulie Malignaggi. Are you kidding me? Biggest podcast guest yet. So be on the lookout for that dropping next week. Also, make sure to buy your custom engraved wooden spoons at thewoodenspoonstore.com. This is Angelina, who just won the YouTube giveaway. We're shipping her spoon out today. She got the Sicilia one with the little Sicily emblem. If you guys are watching on the video podcast, you'll see that. So go to thewoodenspoonstore.com, get your spoons, get your merch. We have another thing dropping. I can't really announce it yet, but dropping soon. I'm super excited about. Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. If you guys know any other business owners, of course, the Wooden Spoon Media is a social media marketing agency. We're ready to help anybody increase their business using social media marketing strategies, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, content like you see on the Wooden Spoon Daily. We want to do that with every business. We want to help everybody, especially during these times. But other than that, I hope everybody has a fantastic Easter. Spend some time with the fam. Everybody stay safe, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thank you very much. Make sure to subscribe, follow us everywhere, share this with your friends, and we'll get into some more Italian contents coming up soon. I just wanted to tell you guys that story and fill a podcast episode. Also, thank you guys again. tens of thousands of listeners to this podcast. I can't believe it. I love each and every one of you. So thank you for that, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Ciao.